Here with us now, Frank Luntz, author of the new book, Win, the Key Principles to Take Your Business from Ordinary to Extraordinary. I like it.
So, Frank, you obviously work for, you help a lot of companies, help a lot of personalities, politicians in the past. Talk about, if you will, the effective communication skills that winners have in common. What are some of the common traits?
It's amazing to me how people can get to a certain level of success and then never be able to take it to that final level because they don't have the right words or phrases and they don't know how to communicate. The opening statement is so much more powerful than the closing statement. Asking people questions rather than inviting them to ask you questions.
Why is the opening statement more persuasive and important than the closing statement? Because we grow up believing that the closing statement is when Perry Mason gets everybody to break down, and when
it's your thesis.
You close the deal.
How old are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Perry
is
Mason went off the air in World War II.
Exactly. So why is the opening statement more important than the closing statement?
Because you don't even get to hear Perry Mason's closing statement if the opening segment didn't turn you on. You know this from the clip that you just showed.
Right.
That humor from whoever that meteorologist was got people to stay through this point, and they won't stay any longer unless they know that they're going to learn something, they're going to be entertained, they're going to laugh. You build to the end.
So you always lead with your strongest card.
And the most strongest word in the English language is the word imagine. I'm waiting for someone to capture that on a TV show or capture that in a movie. Imagine it's more than just what John Lennon said. If I ask you to imagine life at perfection, the four of you will have a different reaction. You'll have a different picture in your brain, and it's not my picture.
Yeah.
Imagine life at perfection is your vision, not mine, and that's effective communication.
What are some other strong words? Because you're not just talking about how to talk, you're talking about the content as well.
When there's 119 specific words and phrases, I get it. That phrase, I get it, is not said sufficiently by CEOs and by political people. No excuses. We don't want to know why Barack Obama isn't sitting down with the Republicans. This is where the GOP is making a mistake. They keep asking, where's Barack Obama? Nobody cares. What they want is just get it done. That idea of accomplishing something. And the most powerful at the end is the close. Let's get to work. That's the call to action. So all through the communication, you're looking at the right words, right phrases, and that intensity. And it's this interactive communication, which I'm not doing right now, which is to ask you questions rather than you asking me.
Well, what are the most common mistakes then people make? And these are great pieces of advice, but I think you wouldn't be writing this book if people didn't struggle with this. What are the common mistakes?
First one is that leaders go way, way, way too long. That we now have the attention span of a gnat.
They like hearing themselves speak?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
And they love the applause, but they forget that the nodding of heads is often more powerful than the applause. That's point one. Point two is that they will read something. I mean, I keep this stuff as far away from me as possible because I don't want to look at a teleprompter. I want to look you straight in the eye. And I want to lean into you. And this is something I give MSNBC credit for. Lean in. I want to make sure that I connect with you, and my leaning in, and you've got that look in your eye right now, you're paying attention. You're focused on what I'm saying. That's effective communication. It doesn't matter what I say in the segment. What matters is what you and listeners hear.
Well, what I'm seeing actually is eye contact, where if you're reading something or if you're going with some sort of, and this is something we don't read here and kind of go by a framework. I'm blind and you don't read, so there you go. But the bottom line is the net result is that we actually connect on the air, which I don't think a lot of people do.
And one of the keys to win is to know who not to communicate with. There are going to be people who are going to be opposed to you no matter what you say. Actually, don't even talk to them. Don't trigger them. Let them go. There are some Republicans who will never vote Democrat, some Democrats who never vote Republican. Let it go. Your most important segment out there of the population, if it's politics, are those who are supporters but not believers. Supporters who agree with you, but they won't do anything with that agreement. To motivate those people, to turn them into activists,
doers,
that's the power of communication.
Willie.
Frank, what about the concept of authenticity, which is so important for a politician? Because if you fill their heads with talking points and you need to describe an issue this way or that way, voters start to see through that, don't they? So how do you internalize all these ideas and still be who you are when you're speaking?
That's perfect. In the work that I do, I never actually write the script for them. I always insist that they do the first draft. And so I could work, and I do. I work for 30 CEOs of the Fortune 100 or 200. Everyone is different because they start with their own language and their own messaging. It has to begin with them. It's got to be in their heart and in their head. And then I can give them more powerful words. Accountability, personal responsibility, measurable results. There's certain words that they need that transcend all of us. But it's got to start from their own heart. And by the way, the last chapter in here is principles. Because in the end, what good is success if you're a bad person?
So let me ask you about Republicans. The Republican field having a terrible time, having a terrible time connecting with people, doing any of these things that you're suggesting they do. Why is that?
A candidate.
I'm going to give you the two great rhetorical questions that I'd say to them that this is how you begin your presentation. And I'll ask the four of you. Are you better off? This is interesting for you. Are you better off than your parents were when they were your age? Is your quality of life better or worse?
Well, I don't know how you rate quality of life.
You rate
Are you
it.
talking about material wealth?
You define it. However you would define it. Is your quality of life better or worse?
I'd say it's about equal.
Better.
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 75% say better, only 10% say worse. Then when I ask the question, would your children or the next generation's quality of life be better than yours? What would you say?
Better. Better.
It's going to be tough.
Going to be tough.
They're in the vast majority right now. Something went wrong with you that you're so optimistic.
Well, no, they've got heroin convictions that they're trying to get past at their kids.
But here's the key to the communication, which is by asking those two rhetorical questions, you're getting opinions, you're getting something from the audience back to you, and then you can respond to it. Too many of these Republican candidates are pushing information out. They want to be pulling it in.
Yeah.
That's that's successful communication.
How is the president doing on these attributes?
The president's communication in 2008 was the best of any presidential candidate, but not as president. It's as though he left it all on Inauguration Day.
Why?
Because in the end, it's not just words that matter. It's the principles and the ideas and the policies behind it. His words connected with the vast majority of Americans, but the policies don't.
They still like him like they liked Reagan, right?
That's exactly it. They really like him as a person, but they don't like the policies he's promoting.
Frank Luntz, thank you very much.
This is great. I can't wait to read it.
The book is called Win, the key principles to take your business from ordinary to extraordinary. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Coming up, he was arrested and beaten by Gaddafi.